Good afternoon. Here we are back at Shakespeare Glass for another episode of Irons in the Fire. No Rebs today because she's not very well. So, yes, you can blow glass on your own. There's certain things you can't make on your own if they need an assistant, a trail or various other things. You can do them, but it's much harder. And quite a lot of things you make on your own, you're not making them quite as well as if you had an assistant. Or you're making them slower, which is another issue because glass blowing, like everything else, time is money. So I'm making baubles this afternoon, so I've just got to make some green standard classic baubles because we've run out again. So I'm just making them slowly without revs today on my own. And the next problem is when you haven't got an assistant, you're not making things quite as well as you could do. That's not very good. You're cutting corners. And when you cut corners, you're basically making landfill products. You're just not making them as good as they could be. And I like to try and make things as well as I can. I like things to last. I don't really want to make stuff that ends up in a landfill. Well, at least not straight away anyway. So one of the things when you're blowing stuff on your own is you just have to take more care because you haven't got an assistant fluffing the colour back up, making sure the irons are up, all those things that aren't necessarily assisting blowing glass, but they are just stuff that makes your life easier as a glass blower, making sure you've got the right tools, all sorts of stuff. So, although in some ways blowing glass on your own can be quite good, you're solving a whole lot of different problems. And I certainly don't want to make stuff that isn't as good as it could be, as far as I'm concerned. And we are living in a society where most things seem to go into landfill anyway. That's another whole story, which we probably won't get onto this afternoon. So this is a green classic bauble standard that we're talking about. So I've been making baubles for a long time now. I quite like making baubles. It's all right, as long as you don't have to make thousands of them, which we do occasionally. Making the odd hundreds, all right. Apart from it doesn't go very well like this because I'm not thinking. So this is using green K3 chips and different green powder. So when you roll the K3 chips on the surface, if you go straight into the powder, the chips are still cold and the hot glass in between picks up the powder, so you get a marble effect, which we really like. So you put all the colour on, melt it all in, and then you just got to keep the bauble on centre and blow it out. So our baubles are roughly 80mm diameter, 80 to 90mm diameter. And going back to my first point, they are pretty sturdy. I used to hate putting up the Christmas tree at home when I was a wee young boy because I'd open the Christmas box and every year some of those beautiful baubles were broken. And I always used to get the blame because I'm the youngest son. So the baubles I make, I try and make them so they last. Okay, I accept that you can't hang that many on your Christmas tree, especially if you buy one of those tacky plastic ones. But you can leave them out all year round. You can put them in the garden. You can hang them on your curtain rails. I can't get over this concept you buy things to only put out for a week or 2 weeks of the year. Anyway, that's now finished. It's got to be knocked off the top, which you can't see because I just turn the whole camera around, and the hook put on the top, and then it goes away to anneal. So you can hear it being knocked off. And thank you very much for watching.